employees. The department heads from years ago were probably, 6 or 8 department heads. Now we have 18 department heads. I have in front of me 18 contracts that the manager has signed for his staff. Yes, he is allowed to hire and fire, but none of these contracts were brought to the attention of the City Commission. These contracts all contain severance packages if the employees are fired. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these contracts were renewed January 5th, 2009, right before the election. They go to 2011. 5 of these contracts were done before the new commission came into place. I find it despicable. The only reason I'm saying this is because if for some reason George decides that he wants to leave the city or that he is no longer needed at the city, he can go ahead and fire these 18 people. And we as a city are crippled by the amount of severance packages that we're going to have to pay for them. How could anybody who manages a city and is looking out for you as taxpayers, put us in harm's way like this? It's wrong. This is wrong, and you need to know that this is what's happening.
Commissioner DeVos?
I gotta say, this really bothers me. This really bothers me to my core. The way we have this man grandstand, it's almost like a public lynching. You know. And I'm going to tell you this. I respect my colleagues and everything that they say. I disagree with them on some of the issues that they made here. You know, on one hand, you know, we say that everyone makes mistakes. It's okay for mistakes to be made. And then on the other hand, I feel as if it rains tomorrow, it's the city manager's fault. Well, the city manager works under our direction, works under the commission, president, and we need to make that point. So all of a sudden, within 8 months, we're here saying, okay, everything is this man's fault. Let's get rid of him. I disagree. There's some accountability from the top down as well. You know, and something else that was brought up that's real passionate to me, and we were talking about, we're going in on the city manager's whole issue with cameras in the cars. That was very special interest driven, and the promise was made, and if things would have been done according to the way it was supposed to be done prior to, without special interest, it wouldn't have gotten to the point where we had to discuss it 3 or 4 times. I mean, that particular issue is a bad example, and I don't think the blame should be put on the city manager. I think that's something that should have been taken care of with the prior commission. I know this issue is a very heated issue, and things that are being said, it just didn't sit well with me. And I'm also passionate about things, and I'll let you know when things don't sit well with me. I don't think that this process has been fair. Like I said, the same things that we're analyzing the city manager with, we should have done the same thing with the city attorney. We should have done the same thing with the city auditor. We've had several people and said the same things that we've done. It's all about being fair here, and I don't think that we're being fair at this point.
They didn't have a beef with those others. Right. Commissioner Rogers and Commissioner Roberts and Hubbard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just want to pick up on where Bobby left off. Bruce, I really do respect you, and I have the most admiration for the way you handle yourself. And I always will. I'm sure I will. But something was said tonight that really, I think, sort of hit home with me about our actions up here. And that is, let's not think about us. It's not about us. It's about them. And when I hear as many people talk from the business community, from the neighborhoods, from the faith-based, from the not-for-profits, and they're all kind of saying the same thing, I worry about what our actions might do to that. And I really, again, I don't know exactly what you went through. I'm sure it was not pleasant, whatever it was, because you wouldn't be as passionate about it if it wasn't. But I also have talked to George personally about things that I've seen him done that I didn't agree with. And I was pleasantly surprised that he took that criticism well. He looked me in the eye and he says, you know what, you're right. I need to do better there. There was one of the things that was mentioned here about calling Mr. Jarrett down in a public meeting. And I told George that, and he said, you know what, you're right. I shouldn't have done that. So, again, his own pastor says there's nobody perfect. We all know that. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to trip. We're all going to fall. But I really believe that this vote is not about us. This vote is about them.
Thank you, Remy. Appreciate it, what you said. But and I hope I didn't convey this is about me. I agree it's about people. Let me finish. You only spoke, and I think it's extremely rude and inappropriate for that to happen. I agree it's for the people, and that's my whole point. I was trying to fast forward from past experience. We meet and say, George, this is where we're going to go for the future, and then in the future, the past experience comes back again in a new form. That's why I came to my whole delivery, I hope, was about that. Yes, this happened in the past, we talked, and it still continues in the future. I see no change. And I think, you guys have touched on this, you've had 8 months to work with the city manager. Myself and Charlotte Rodstrom, in different capacities, have had a lot longer experience to work with the city manager. And I have a totally different viewpoint from that experience and be able to assess it from a totally different altitude. And I think, but please, it is about the people. My whole life has been service to the community and the people. I continue to do it on the dais. I'm not a person that's about me. I have to give personal experience related to the current aspects as we deal as a commission to try to make a point. And my point is, I don't see the ability to make the change. And I don't trust the ability to make the change.
I wasn't inferring that at all. I said it's not about us. Us as a body. And I think we're going to miss it.
I agree, but I want to clarify that too, because it's an important point.
George?
Mayor, I want to address